Almost a year ago, we had the pleasure of welcoming the Lord Lieutenant of Hertfordshire, Mr. Robert Voss, to the airwaves here at Radio Verulam. And at the time, the true nature of the pandemic ahead of us was just becoming apparent. And the Office of the Lord Lieutenant was launching an appeal for iPads and technology to be deployed at local hospitals and hospices. It seems so long ago. And what I learnt during that interview was that the Office of the Lord Lieutenant was a hive of industry and projects aimed at making Hertfordshire simply a better place to be. And we got a very positive response to that interview, and we thought at the time it would be interesting to find out more about the role of the Lord Lieutenant and the office that he heads up. And I'm really pleased to say that he joins us today. Lord Lieutenant, Mr. Robert Voss, welcome back to Radio Verulam today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It is our pleasure. Thanks for your time. Now, it hardly seems credible that it was 10 months ago since you were last with us. We really didn't know what was ahead of us at the time, did we? How has the year been for you and your office?
Extremely busy. There's no question about it. There are so many people in the county who need help, who need support, who need guidance. And the entire lieutenancy has been extremely busy. Sadly, virtually all of it has been virtual, but that is life today. But no, it has been extremely busy. And the appeals we had, in fact, the NHS appeal was very successful, and we then extended that to the hospices. And that was, if anything, even more successful. And in fact, we even presented something to the hospices last week, so that's been going for a considerable time.
And did that work lead to any other campaigns related specifically to COVID and lockdown and helping people in that difficult time?
Well, as I say, the hospices, we have six hospices. Well, we actually have five in Hertfordshire, one on the border, and then we included the two children's hospices, which are just outside the county. And we raised a fair amount of money and a lot of goods. And I was delighted that things they really needed. So what we asked them for was their wish list, which we'd done with the NHS. We didn't want to send them PPE, which they may be inundated with or didn't have a problem finding. And we got all sorts of wishes. So we provided lawn mowers, we provided washing machines, we provided some technical equipment, we provided food, we provided goodies for the staff, and quite a lot of money. So we're eternally grateful to the people of Hertfordshire who've been extremely generous in their giving and supporting of the hospices. The other campaigns, well, we have extended it. We now have a campaign looking at young people and how we can help young people coming out of the pandemic. I feel extremely sorry for young people at the moment who've had a tough year educationally and continually with employment prospects. So we have a group now looking at how we can help young people. And part of that, we've actually gone to young people and we've held a number of focus groups, about 20 focus groups with years 12 and 13 or their equivalents at FE colleges and similar, asking them what they want, what are their concerns, what are their fears, how can we help them? And that's been a very interesting exercise. And the larger group, which comprises some of the leaders in the county, will be getting back together shortly to see exactly how we can help them. Other things that we are doing, we're concentrating on apprenticeships. My business panel are looking at how we can encourage businesses in the county, and bear in mind we have well over 100,000 companies in Hertfordshire, how we can help them to help young people get on the apprenticeship ladder. So there are a number of initiatives going around. I won't mention them all because we'd be here all day.
I think our listeners will be very surprised at what you've just said there, because I think we said at the time we were talking 10 months ago, the role of the Lord Lieutenant of Hertfordshire is probably something which isn't clear to many of the listeners. It's a term which we might hear, maybe not frequently, but more than occasionally, without fully understanding what the role is, who it is, and what it is they do. Just remind us, I know we talked about it last time, but remind us, what is the primary role of the Lord Lieutenant?
Well, the primary role, I am Her Majesty's personal representative in the county of Hertfordshire, and I'm assisted by a number of deputies. The primary role is to uphold the dignity of the Crown and to carry out a raft of duties that Her Majesty asks me to, including things like presenting awards, so Queen's Awards for Enterprise, Queen's Awards for Voluntary Service, British Empire medals, etc. Obviously, arranging and receiving royal visitors when they come to the county, but also to in the way that Her Majesty the Queen does, uh, to extend goodwill across the county, to engage with all sectors and all areas of the county, be it the voluntary sector, be it educational sector, be it the business sector, be it the social sector, as well as our role, my role, with the military and the magistracy and other organisations such as St John's, the Scouts, etc., etc. So it's really engaging with people and seeing what's going on in the county, and where possible, seeing how we can help the people of Hertfordshire.
And how did you come to take on that role? Were you selected or nominated, or is it something you applied to take on?
No, what happened is my predecessor, who's obviously very well known in particularly in and around St Albans, around the entire county, the Countess of Verulam, she stood down after a considerable time in office and a very successful time in office. And a search went on to find three names to put forward to the Prime Minister, people who it was suggested might make a good Lord Lieutenant, and looking at the challenges facing Hertfordshire, because of course every county every county in the country has a Lord Lieutenant, but the challenges in each county are different. Three names are then put forward to the Prime Minister. I was asked if my name could be one of those. I said yes. The Prime Minister then decides or selects one name, one person puts it forward to Her Majesty, and if Her Majesty agrees, I am appointed, and that's exactly what happened. So I had no input into it. I certainly didn't apply, and it took its normal format.
And for you, it would be quite a change because your career was largely in industry, which I guess would prepare you for some of the panels that you're working on, but not maybe so much the ceremonial aspect of it. When we were talking last time, I think you told us about a training manual which taught you how to ride with spurs or something similar like that. Are you getting to grips with that now?
Well, I can't say I ride down St Albans High Street or through the Watford Harlequin Centre very often on the back of my horse. In fact, I don't have a horse. Um, yes, I mean, the ceremonial aspect, which a lot of people will see because we are evident at many ceremonies, obviously not in the last 12 months, but things like Remembrance Day and VE Day, etc., etc. And yes, I have to wear a uniform, which I'm not used to. I'm not military. I did spend many years in the Cubs and Scouts, but that was about it. As far as the spurs are concerned, I've managed to walk downstairs without tripping myself up and without stabbing my Labrador, who trails behind me. But no, it's you refer to my previous life. I think one brings to it when you're appointed. There's this term: you do it in your own way. And what does that mean? I think it means different things to different people. And if you look at the diversity of the Lord Lieutenants around the UK, you'll see we come from vastly differing backgrounds, which is exactly what it should be. We are a diverse country. I came out of business, out of commerce, and with that, I have brought a certain structure. As you say, panels. We have 15 panels, and we're fairly well organised as far as panels and panel meetings are concerned. But also, I think the one thing that I would say is people. I spent my career engaging with and talking to and meeting people. That's exactly the same as the lieutenancy. We talk to, we meet, we engage with, we listen to people. And people are the essence both of commerce and, in my opinion, of the work that we do on behalf of Her Majesty.
Now, you mentioned a few of the projects which you've been working on, a few initiatives. And when we were talking last time, you did mention that your office was organised into panels to deal with these projects. What is the sort of range of issues which you tackle, the sort of projects which you become involved in?
Well, let me first say when you say my office comprises one person who's the assistant clerk to the lieutenancy, Siobhan, who's an absolute godsend. The rest are deputy lieutenants who, like me, have all been appointed and are all voluntary. And I'm extremely fortunate to be supported by some incredible people doing some incredible work in and around the county. So the type of things that we come across. Well, firstly, let me say that the type of panels we have are broken down into things like social responsibility, interfaith, education, health, military, etc., as well as panels in each of the areas, so we know what's going on in the 4 areas of the county. It's something different every single day. We are extremely busy, and we are facing things every single day, whether it's helping charities. Many of us are patrons or trustees of a number of charities. We work closely with the Hertfordshire Community Foundation, of which I'm president, and we're basically here to help people, to assist people. We do a lot of work with business. So, for example, last week I was encouraging people to apply for the Queen's Award for Enterprise, which this county has been quite successful in. We work with the military. So yesterday we had a meeting of the of military personnel. We're looking at social responsibility matters. So we're looking at crime. We're looking at how we can perhaps help with racial problems, interfaith. We are concerned that there are so many different faiths practiced in this county. And of course, we have an archbishop and 2 bishops in Hertfordshire, which is most unusual. And it's important that we understand each other's faiths. As I say, we are a very diverse country, and I think we are an extremely diverse county. And I think it's one of our strengths in Hertfordshire is our diversity. And I actually boast when I talk to other Lord Lieutenants, I actually say, I think we could be one of the most diverse counties in the country. And that to me is one of our great strengths. So we have to reach out to everybody in every sector. The food banks, for example, have done a fantastic job during COVID. So many charities have come to the fore, helping people, packing goods for Christmas, supporting the elderly, care homes, the hospices. It just goes on and on, quite honestly.
It has given very many people the opportunity to shine, hasn't it? The lockdown and the challenges which it's faced. And I think from what we've heard here on Radio Verulam, the people of Hertfordshire have responded to that challenge with vigour and initiative. And yeah, we're all proud to be part of this county. I mean, we mentioned COVID there, which, as I say, has raised some challenges for you to deal with. Has it been an obstacle for your deputies to be able to get on with the challenges they face?
Well, I mean, obviously, we like to get out there. We like to shake hands. We like to meet people. We like to visit places. We like to go and see hospitals. We like to go and see schools. We do a lot of talking to schools, telling them about the monarchy, about the Commonwealth. We can't do any of that. We like to go and see businesses. I love walking around factories and business premises and see what's going on. There is so much going on in Hertfordshire. So that's been very frustrating for us, but no more frustrating than for anybody else. Thank goodness for Zoom and Teams and all the rest of these the virtual platforms. We've managed to get out there and talk to a huge number of people. It can be very tiring, obviously, spending hours and hours on Zooms, but we still miss the physical interaction. There's no question about it, as I'm sure do all of your listeners as well. We're no different. And I think I've said to a number of people, I never thought these words would come out of my mouth, but I actually miss the M25. I can't wait to get out there, to shake a few hands, to hug a few people if necessary. So it's the physical interaction that we miss. But as I say, thank goodness for the platforms, the virtual platforms that are there. We have been able to engage with a huge number of people.
Well, we hope you're back on the M25 pretty soon. Our travel bulletins are a little stale at the moment. No problems on the M25, clear as a bell. So, the things which you've talked about today, you've talked about what your office does for the people of Hertfordshire, what the deputy lieutenants do. Do you rely on the people of Hertfordshire to help you in achieving those things at all?
Yes and no. I mean, yeah, I say yes because we only know what's going on in the county if we're told about it, quite honestly. One of my other roles is putting forward people for honours, putting forward people or recommending people perhaps for Queen's Awards for voluntary service. We can only know what's going on in the county when we're told about it or when we find out about it. Of course, we try and investigate, we go and meet people and talk to people, but we would encourage people to contact us, the lieutenancy. Contact me, contact the office, have a look at our website, which we're told is one of the best lieutenancy websites in the country. Just get out there and tell us what's going on. Tell us if there are great things being done. Tell us if there are things that we ought to know about that you feel Her Majesty would want to know about. I do write to Her Majesty periodically, telling her what's going on in the county, and I am only as wise as the people who tell me. So I would encourage the people of Hertfordshire to engage with the Lieutenancy. We're here for you. We want to come and meet you. We want to talk to you. We want to learn about you. We want to know what's going on in our county. And we want to know if and how we can help you, or whether we can facilitate and put you in touch with others who perhaps can. And as I said, between myself and the deputies, we have some incredibly wide contacts in all sorts of arenas. And we'd be delighted to try and put you in touch, facilitate those contacts where necessary.
And so to share those thoughts and ideas and maybe concerns, that would all be done through your website, I guess, Lord Lieutenant Hearts Org UK.
Absolutely, or can send emails to the office, and there's a link on the website, or there's also an email address. So yes, please do get in contact. We're going to have a very busy time coming out of COVID restrictions and COVID lockdown, and in fact, I've got a group of DLs working on a strategic plan, so we know who we should go and see and what we can talk to them about. I think the demand for our visits is going to be huge, and we want to get out there and see people. So if there are particular organisations that anybody feels are of particular interest or concern, or should require us to come and talk to in terms of compassion and in terms of help, we're very happy to do so.
That is a great message to hear, because I'm sure a lot of our listeners will have had no idea that there was a route of communication directly to you, and that messages would be passed on to Her Majesty. If you are listening and you do have messages for the Lord Lieutenant, please do contact him via the email or via his website, which you can find. The Lord Lieutenant of Hertfordshire, the website is Lord Lieutenant Hearts Org UK. Lord Lieutenant, thanks for joining us today on Radio Verulam. It's been a pleasure. I do hope you're able to come back and share some more information, or perhaps some of your deputy lieutenants could join us next time and explain in a little bit more detail some of the areas that they're working in. We'd love to have you back on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having us, and we will certainly be back.